Okay, so I'm Beverly, and but everybody just calls me Bev. But I've never done something like this before, so just bear with me. Um, I have a little bit of notes so I can stay on topic. Um, and if you hear Hazel, my dog, she's running around. It's fine. Anyways, so I was just gonna tell you a little bit about what I've kind of been dealing with and going through this summer. And kind of the realization I had of it. Um, I guess you would say, or yeah. Anyways, so if you had told me at the beginning, the if you had told me at the end of the school year that this is how I would have spent my summer, I probably would have laughed in your face. Um, so on June 5th, I fell down my stairs at my house, and I broke my foot in two places. So I broke my navicular bone, which apparently is the hardest bone to heal without having to have surgery. So yeah, I did it. Big. But I also broke an extra bone that I had in my foot that I didn't know about. They said apparently I'd had it since birth, but it doesn't usually cause problems, so I didn't know until I broke it. So on a week later, on June the 12th, I had to have surgery on my foot. They went in and they removed the extra bone, and then they had to place some screws to repair my navicular bone, and they had to unattach the tendon and then reattach it. So major surgery. And I haven't been able to walk. I've been in a cast since surgery. So going on 6 weeks, I've been in a cast, non-weight bearing, and I haven't walked since June 5th, and really June 4th, because I woke up June 5th at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting ready for an appointment I had that morning at 8, and I fell down my stairs as soon as I woke up at 6 o'clock when I was coming to let Hazel out. So I really haven't walked since June 4th. So 2 months. It's been really bad. So to say this summer has looked different than I expected is an understatement. I had some beach trips planned for the summer. I had projects I wanted to do around my house because I just moved into this new house on spring break, and I was waiting until the summer to do a lot of updates and painting and just doing a lot of stuff to it. And I was just looking forward to having fun and making the most out of my summer before school started. But instead, I've spent it in a wheelchair, then on my knee scooter, which I'm on now. Hopefully, I get off of it tomorrow and I can walk, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because I may still be non-weight bearing for a little bit longer, but I'll find out tomorrow. But learning how to do life without being able to use one of your legs is very hard. It's very difficult. And it's more of a mental thing than it is the physical. I feel like the mental challenge of this has been more than the physical, because since surgery, I haven't really had any pain. It's just been the mental part and the emotional part of it. One of the hardest parts has been volleyball. So I coach volleyball at a middle school that I work at, and we have workouts and practices all throughout the summer that I had planned, and I had big plans for the girls, and I've been there as much as I physically can, but it's been incredibly difficult. I I constantly feel like I'm not giving the girls what they deserve. I've questioned whether I was enough as a coach because I couldn't be on the court with them the way I normally am. Um, and that itself is very hard for me because I love coaching volleyball and I love being there for those girls. It's like I said, it's middle school, so they're 7th and 8th graders, and that I just feel like that is a very crucial part in a kid's life, and it's just something that I've really struggled with this summer, is just feeling like I wasn't enough for them, and I really did question a lot just whether I was enough for them, and just feeling like they deserve so much more than I was able to give them. Mentally, that has been harder than any of the physical pain. I carry a lot of guilt, feeling like I failed them this summer. We are not where we normally would be as a team at this part of the summer, and I feel like that's my fault because I've been there but I really wasn't there. Um, but my girls have reminded me that coaching is so much more than standing on a court. They didn't want me to miss the week after surgery, so I had surgery and I had surgery on a Friday and we had workouts on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday the following week, and I didn't get to go because obviously I still was pretty much recovering, like seriously recovering then. But they still wanted me to be there. They've continued to show up every day. They've done everything I've asked. They worked hard. They've grown, and they reminded me that sometimes just being present matters than being perfect. I'm very proud of every one of my players and thankful that they continue to show up and even encourage me that they them still doing everything I ask and still showing up and being the players that they are shows me that I can coach them even if I'm having to sit on the sidelines or sit in a chair. I don't have to physically be out there showing them where to go and what to do or toss them a ball. Like there's ways, and they've showed me that, and so they have been a huge help. Um, Getting me out of the house, like to be there with them at practice, and just they always make me laugh, and they're really it's been a positive environment, even if it has been hard and made me doubt. They always just like show up and show me that it's so much more. As hard as this season has been for me, like the season of my accident and this summer not being what I wanted it to be, I don't think it was an accident. I spend the entire school year so busy just running from one thing to the next, from teaching to coaching, having meetings, planning, stuff at my church that I do in the children's ministry and teaching there, and just trying to be there for everybody and trying to be what everybody needs me to be all the time. Um, and then all of a sudden I couldn't. Um, at first, when broke my foot and found out I had to have surgery, I was very mad. I didn't understand why this had happened or why it had happened now. Like, why now? But over the past several weeks, now that I'm almost at the end of it, and just thinking about it all, but I guess over the past several weeks, I've started to realize something. Maybe God wasn't trying to stop my life, but maybe He was trying to slow me down long enough that I'd finally be still and listen. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Be still and know that I'm God." I know we all read those words so many times. I know I have, but read them without actually living them. This summer and this accident, it forced me to be still, and it forced me to let other people help me. And honestly, that has been one of the biggest lessons. I've always had a hard time believing that people truly cared about me. I've always felt like I had to handle everything on my own. But this summer, people have shown up in ways that I'll never forget. They've checked on me. They've visited me. They, they've prayed for me. The amount of prayers from my church family and friends has been crazy, and I'm so appreciative of that. They've helped me when I couldn't help myself. Even the little things like fixing my plate at an event, or like at a friend's house for a 4th of July, and they are offering to fix my plate for me and help me get in my car, move my car closer to the building so I can get in and out. Like just the littlest things, or like offering to make me food or bring me meals. Like it's reminded me that I'm not alone. Some of my friendships that have grown during this season, they've become more like family. And I don't think I even realized how many people genuinely loved and cared about me until I was forced to receive it. I never would have chosen this path, falling and breaking my leg and having to have surgery. I never would have asked to have surgery. Definitely didn't want to have to go months without walking and recovering. But even in the middle of all of this disappointment, pain, and feeling stuck, God has been teaching me things that I probably never would have learned if life had kept moving at its normal pace for me. I'm still healing, and I'm still learning patience. I'm still looking forward to the day that I can finally walk again. That can't get here fast enough. um, but sometimes God allows us to slow down, not to punish us, but to remind us that our worth isn't found in how much we accomplish or how busy we stay. Sometimes He asks us to be still so He can show us His faithfulness, deepen in our trust, and remind us just how loved we really are. So no, this wasn't the summer that I planned, but it's definitely the summer I needed. I can look at that now and say that I needed this more than I ever could imagined. Because like I said, the amount of people that have showed up for me, and just the friendships that I've gained. And I mean, I had these friends, but just in my mind, for me to actually realize that they do care about me and they wanted to show up for me. They didn't have to. They didn't have to come and plan a game night at my house and bring me a bed downstairs so I have a bed to sleep in down here because I can't get upstairs. They didn't have to do any of that, but they did because they wanted to. And I have to realize that I can't make choices for other people. I can't stop people from loving and caring about me. If that's what they want to do, I have to accept that. And that's something that I've had to learn and work on. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've dealt with this summer and how I've kind of realized what God had planned for me. So no, like I said, this wasn't the summer I planned, but looking back on it, it's the summer I needed. I hope this encourages somebody. So thank you for listening.